Have you ever felt or maybe dreamt about that you were maybe chosen, or maybe you're someone who's going to create big impact in this world? Then this is for you. Your soul knows, but your mind, it's so conditioned to not to believe or not to take that path. So as a result, you're ignoring the signs and you're not taking the steps that you're supposed to, then end up feeling like, I don't fucking belong here. And I'm not talking about the location, I'm talking about the stage of life or where you are in life. You feel like this is not where you're supposed to be. And then look around and on Instagram or perhaps your friends around you, and then you see the people who's becoming the version that you wish to be and be in the stage of life where you wish to be. And it's because you're not listening to your soul, because you don't belong there. You belong to the top 1%. So today in this video, I'm going to explain what the top 1% is, because what most people don't understand is that top 1% is not about how much money you make. It's not about how much power you hold in this life. It is about how high you vibrate. So essentially, the top 1% is, or at least my definition, and then how you can actually become the top 1% frequency, whether it's money, growing your business, scaling your business, and then become like, 7, 8 figure, or having a beautiful relationship, or pretty much the lifestyle that you want to have, the freedom. So in this video, I am going to give you a 5 character trait that you can actually copy and paste so that you will change your frequency. But before that, I'm going to give you why the top 1% is the frequency, not the how much money you hold. Okay? So without further ado, let's dive in. Why top 1% is a frequency, not anything else? Because first of all, the money doesn't have a limitation, right? And then in order for you to be a top 1% in the matrix of the money, then you have to be like a Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. But do you want to be Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates? No, really. I believe that if you're watching this video, then you want to accomplish a mission, you want to live with a purpose, and you want to be able to be respected and loved. And then essentially what you're going to get as a becoming the top 1% frequency is the 3 things. 1 is that hiring your income, and 2 is that hiring your level of influence, and 3 is that hiring level of impact. So there's a chart in frequency. The top 1% is, let's say, somewhere here, and in the top of the frequency is Satori, which is the enlightenment energy, right? This is where the Buddha, reached. And below that, there's a love. And based on study, love is about 500 hertz. And then if you go down, all the way to the down, this is a lower frequency. This is a high frequency. The lower frequency will be guilt, shame, stress, fear, and etc. So it is a energy in this chart where the energy goes up, then you have higher frequency, and then you can actually measure as a number, right? And then if you go down, opposition to that, you have lower frequency, which is like fear, 50 hertz, shame, guilt, 20 hertz. So it's a lower frequency. So the reason why this is going to be so important in this video and in your life is because Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the secret of the universe, then you have to think in terms of the energy and vibration and frequency. So the reason why he said that, because he found the code and cheat code in this world, and in how you can manifest pretty much anything in this world. And I used to focus on money. I used to focus on marketing. I used to focus on strategy of the YouTube and strategy of this and strategy of that. But what I realized is that I was just way too much focused on something outside of myself. And I was not focusing on myself or my energy, right? And when I shift that belief system and then start focusing on my energy level, and as well as like my thought, my feelings, and my behavior in terms of that energy, then a shift happens. And I remember the first shift happened, there's a lot of like breakthrough, but then there's a big breakthrough for me was about 3 years ago. The 3 years ago I was walking on the TikTok, and then I was already like 10,000 followers, right? But then I shifted my focus because I was like, oh, how can I make a viral video and how can I make a viral video? And it was too much focus on strategy and all that. But then I was like, you know what? Let it go. And then just focus on my energy. And then I shot a video with that high frequency. I was so happy, I was so excited. And then I was just like, kind of like in a joyful mood. And then boom, 200,000 followers in just 2 weeks. In just 2 weeks. 200,000 followers in 2 weeks. So from that, I was like, okay, this is true because it never happened to me before. And every time I focus on energy and frequency and vibration, despite the situation, even if the business is slow, even if the things are not, giving you the signs and things are not pushing you with the momentum, I just stayed focused on my energy and frequency. And then I maintained that very, very high, like a lot of love, a lot of joy and excitement, and blissful feelings. Then every breakthrough comes from the frequency, not from the marketing. I never had any breakthrough when I made, $100,000 a month or when I made $1 million a month. It didn't come from the marketing. It came from the frequency that I was in. So I'm going to give you the 5 character trait right now so that you can actually change and walk into that frequency and then that version of you, which is going to create and manifest anything you want. So you have to know this. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. That's why you have to be that frequency. So the number 1 is never chase success. I used to chase a lot of things. I used to chase women, I used to chase money, I used to chase a lot of things. And I never got it. I never got it while I was chasing. And I was chasing the wrong things. But there's one thing that we should chase, we should be obsessed, is that mission and purpose. So, if you were to chase something in this life, this is it. Man and woman doesn't matter, okay? So, I'm a man, so I'll speak to my man, okay? If you're chasing girls, if you're chasing ladies, then that ladies that you're chasing is chasing somebody who's chasing a mission. So it's like this. Hey baby, come to me, baby, come to papa. And then the girls are like, no, I'm chasing. Like fucking top athlete shit. Chasing a man. Superhero. You chasing girl, this girl, beautiful girl, is chasing a man with a mission. I hope the woman can, agree with that. So if you're chasing something small that in front of you is just the money and success, that doesn't give you anything in a bigger scale. There is a woman that you're chasing is chasing somebody who's chasing a mission and purpose, or more like on mission and purpose. I don't think they're chasing, but it's on a mission. So that's why, number 1, ask yourself, what are you chasing right now? And then if you're chasing something that is not going to give you the fulfillment and basically the purpose of life, purpose of living, then you should stop chasing. And you should be on the mission. What is your mission? And maybe some people say, well, Shio, I don't have the mission right now. I don't know what is my purpose. I believe there's a lot of people like that. So, number 1, biggest mission or biggest purpose that we all have, it's a common mission, common purpose, is to live fully, to live totally. Because every single day, you're literally going towards the death, right? But here, however, we are not here to die. We're here to live. But it's just, clock is ticking every single day that you're getting older, and then you never know when the day will come. So that's why what we can do is to live to the fullest, live to the totally, the best way we can, best way we can. And then if you do have some mission and a purpose within you that is soul calling, and this purpose, the calling, and then you're chosen for this, then be on that mission, okay? Because you're not supposed to sit on the couch. You're not supposed to be, just chilling all the time. You're supposed to be on the mission. And that challenges and everything that comes with it on the way will make you even more powerful and deep and rich as a human being and then high as a vibration. So number one, never chase success. Be on the mission. Number two, stop being too forgiving. So forgiveness is a very, very beautiful practice, I believe, and the way of being. And I forgive pretty much everything. But then what I've learned is that people know exactly what they're doing. So you have to stop fucking forgiving everything and then allowing people to take advantage on you. And this will lower your frequency, because what's happening is that they are breaking the boundaries of yours and then try to pull you down. Okay? So I'm a genuine guy. I like to be that way. And then, my parents taught me beautiful things. My parents told me to be kind to others. My parents taught me beautiful things as a human being, as a man. So I don't judge people, and I'm very, very kind and genuine. However, because of that, the people took advantage of me. People took money, people took, a lot of things. And then I was still forgiving. Maybe you resonate with that. Maybe you're still forgiving and then but it's okay, I still wish them happiness. But then what I've learned is that if I am allowing them to keep fucking taking advantage of me, then my frequency is going down. And then also, this is what's happening in the physical perspective. Then you're just doing something for them, or you're stressed and whatever. But then energetically perspective, you're allowing this energy to come into your personal life, and you're basically creating the system of attracting the same thing. Okay? You have to remember that people will come to you and then try to challenge to break the boundaries that you have. They will test you whether they can push the boundaries. Oh, can you make it cheaper? Or all this discount, or whatever that is. Can you do that for me for free? And then you have to say no, because the boundaries is a sacred line. It is a very holy thing, because it's a protection. You see, in Japanese, we call it kekkai. Kekkai. So what is it? Kekkai is your hair, right? And then you create this energetic field to protect the negative energy, right? So the boundaries is like that. And then of course, if somebody, did something to you, and then you shouldn't hate, you should let go and then you should forgive. But that doesn't mean you should keep allowing people to do the same shit onto you. Stop being so forgiving. Okay, the top 1% frequency needs to be protected, because no one is coming to protect you. Okay, set the boundaries and then stop being too fucking forgiving, and say no with love. And then if somebody did something to you, let go and just forgive them. But that doesn't mean that you have to keep allowing that person to do the same shit onto you, because otherwise this is going to happen. Okay, protect that. Put the kekkai around you, so that you can maintain your frequency very, very high. Number 3, stop giving a fuck. This is so important, is because you're supposed to give so much fuck about something that you care most. What do you care most? This, no? But most people fail is because, including myself, I'm guilty here, because I was so afraid to be judged. I was so afraid to be misunderstood. Fear of failure and fear of being seen, being exposed, comes from the being misunderstood. Because I believe a lot of people are genuinely nice people, right? And then kind, and they're just very, very nice people. But when they challenge something, back of their head, unconscious, they're afraid of being misunderstood. Because, I talk about that in a different video, you have the idea of So now I want you to think about I want to ask yourself, what am I so afraid of in terms of like being misunderstood? What kind of person or what kind of idea that I don't want to be misunderstood? Okay, so this is such a great practice because it increases self-awareness, and then you find out what am I basically so afraid of in terms of like misunderstood? Like what kind of person do I don't want to be? So that I don't want to be like that, I don't want to be seen this way, particular way, will create a lot of blockages, and then it controls your action step, because the human being operates only two motives. One is a greed and one is a fear. So if you're not operating from the greed, like I want this, therefore I take this action. I'm afraid, therefore I don't, or I do take this action. Okay, if you're operating constantly based on the fear, then you're always in this frequency. Therefore you're not going to reach here. Okay, so that's why I'm saying, if you're afraid of misunderstood, then you are instantly tap into this low frequency, because that's a fear kicked in. Okay, so stop giving a fuck about things. What people think about you actually has nothing to do with you, because their perception of you is a reflection of them. And you see, when you're pointing a finger at somebody, you bad. You know, the finger is pointing at that person, but then the three of them is pointing at you. It's like, hey, you ugly, you bitch, right? So that means that the three of them is pointing at them. So that's why their perception of you is a reflection of them. That's nothing to do with you, but it's so powerful is because you're so afraid. The fear is owning your decisions and your actions, and your entire frequency is going lower. So that's why you have to stop giving a fuck, be free. Okay, freedom comes from your mind, not from the having of money. Number 4, love yourself. This is something that I have been practicing for a long time. Look, I've been in self-development for 10 years, okay? I've meditated 10 hours a day. I've meditated like a fucking monk. And what I've learned is that this is the most important topic. The most important topic. At the end of the day, the ability to love yourself equals to the ability to be wealthy. And it's funny. It is funny though, like how? Because you as a vessel, you have to be able to receive certain level of energy, right? Imagine you're a cup. This is my coffee, right? Imagine you're like the size of this cup. Then you want to receive the gigantic amount of money as an energy. It's too much, so it will come out, right? So imagine you have this gigantic bucket. You're ready to receive. My vessel is huge, baby. Then you can receive the energy from the universe. And then you can just keep it because it fits. So the vessel as you needs to be expanded. Let me just sip some coffee. The loving yourself and then increasing your self-worth is the only way to expand your vessel. Because we are so conditioned, and everyone is, you know, everyone has traumas and everything. Everyone goes through some sort of hardship in life. You know, sometimes kids can be, you know, brutal, right? And I've also experienced that, kind of like I got bullied and stuff like that for a couple of years, and a lot of people hated me. And it was because, you know, I was different, whatever. And then the kids can be brutal a little bit like that. So everyone goes through some sort of hardships and challenges, maybe in their childhood, and then that program their mind, and then we actually are so conditioned to not to love ourselves and to be hard on ourselves. And me as an Asian, you know, obviously it's very famous, but Asian parents can be hard on you and then like have expectation of you, and then if you're not having a good grades, then you're not worthy, and then if you're not doing, you know, like doing your best, and like you're not doing good, then again you're not worthy. So like that's a condition. We didn't decide. Okay, it was just got done onto us. So the actual journey, so the second life starts when you actually start deprogramming yourself from all these things that it's done to you and it's done onto you in the program that already is set in your mind. And then once you reprogram that, deprogram that first, and then like learn something new for you to love without condition, and then just feel worthy without any condition. In a society, it's not. Right? In society, you're worthless if you cannot do X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. But in a human society, people might tell you like that's fucking nuts. You're not supposed to feel worthy if you cannot do anything. But the neuroscience shows it's actually the opposite. The belief system will change your genetic expression as well as physiological, biological function. So if you actually change the way you speak to yourself and the way you see yourself, it will increase your performance in pretty much anything. So you can be good at business, you can be, be better at making money, you can be better at playing sports or anything pretty much, and you can even be more attractive by simply changing how you see yourself and increasing your self-worth. So love yourself without condition. Allow yourself to just feel that love and then accept yourself, and then notice that you are worthy of making millions of dollars. Because come on, let's face it, there's like shit tons of douchebags making millions, so many scammers and gangsters making millions of dollars. If you're genuinely a nice person, then I think, and then you know it, you deserve to receive the same thing. But we just have to take that aligned action, right? But first step is that you allow yourself to receive that. You gotta love yourself no matter what. And number 5, this is also something that I struggle seriously. Yep. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It's because, you see, this is something that intertwined, loving yourself and self-worth, and then taking myself too seriously. It's because I was so afraid to be, misunderstood, and I was so afraid to be disrespected because of my experience in childhood. It created a certain level of program that puts me in the fear state, the fight or flight mode, where I don't want to be disrespected, I don't want to be seen as a stupid person. But the reality is, who cares? Okay? Who cares? Because when you don't take yourself seriously, you easily tap into the love and joy and excitement. When I was taking myself too seriously, I was so careful and cautious about how am I going to make a video, and then I need to show up as a cool person. Yes, But then I realized that is just part of me. And then it was funny because when I did a seminar for 100 people, 90 something people in Japan, and they loved it because of the way I am so authentic. And then there's nothing, I cover anything, I hide nothing, I'm just perfectly authentic. But it takes courage, because the vulnerability takes courage. It's the hardest things to do as a human being, right? As a woman, obviously, being vulnerable in front of the man is very difficult. And as a man, it's very difficult to be vulnerable in front of the man. That's why we, try to be cool. It's because we don't want to get hurt. It's a risk. Being vulnerable comes with the risk of getting hurt. So that's why it takes courage. Okay, because that pain, you remember that pain when you're a child. You remember that pain when you're little. So that's why it's very, very difficult for us to be vulnerable. However, if you're running a business and if you're doing something, it's always person to person. There's B2B, B2C, but then at the end of the day, it's a person to person. There's so many fake people on the internet. Yeah, you agree with that, right? And it's easy because the camera is like that. You can fake them. You can act cool, pretend that you're not. But the reality is, people see through you. The top high-level people will see through you. So, do not take yourself seriously. Always find the joy. Always find the love, because it requires courage. The vulnerability is the most difficult thing to achieve, and especially in front of the people and a group of people. It's challenging. And that's why if you can do that, you're free from everything. You're free from all this judgment and society and ideas, and now you freed yourself. So now if you actually go through this 5 character trait, Implement it, okay? Oh, okay, now I learned it. No, you have to implement it. You have to actually take aligned action. So that's why I put this 5 character traits so that people can actually do this, okay? And then I explain that in a way that is so easy to understand. This is the shortcut, the cheat code to tap into the highest top 1% frequency. And then I'll guarantee if you actually do this for a long period of time, you know, the people will come to you, people will get attracted to you, and then also you will manifest everything, pretty much anything. It's easy. It's not that difficult to manifest. It's not that difficult if you understand and maintain your frequency. But most of the time we get stuck and start focusing on a business strategy and etc. and etc. And then our focus is completely outside of ourselves. And that's why you're not seeing what you're supposed to see. Okay? So let's do a recap. Never chase success. Money, do not chase that. Be on the mission. Okay? Number 2, stop being too forgiving. Set the boundaries. And if someone did something to you, let go and forgive, but then don't keep allowing that people to keep doing some same shit to you. Number 3, stop giving a fuck about something that is not important, but giving so much fuck about your mission, your purpose, your own happiness, and then your family's happiness, the richness and wealth and the way of living, your philosophy and everything. And number 4, love yourself. Love yourself unconditionally, love yourself without anything. Don't be hard on yourself. Be careful how you speak yourself and how you see yourself, because it creates your reality. Number 5, do not take yourself seriously, okay? Be vulnerable. And it's very, very challenging, but once you become so courageous and brave that you don't no longer take yourself seriously, but you can always be playful, you're tapping into this highest fucking frequency, and that's gonna get you pretty much anything, okay? With that said, if you're an entrepreneur and working on your business, making like $10,000, $20,000, whatever that is, and then feeling stuck in your revenue, and if you want to manifest that 100K per month or even $1 million a month, then apply from the link in the description, and we can discuss how we can help you to actually grow your revenue, 10x your revenue, all right? With that said, I genuinely hope that you will implement this 5 character trait from today and then start becoming the top 1%. And make sure to hit the subscribe button, notification bell, because it allows me to reach more people so that I can help more people. And I appreciate that. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.